They had it all: the fame, the fortune, the fans. And then they threw it all away. Whether it was a moment of madness, a string of bad decisions, or just plain stupidity, these celebs managed to wreck their own careers in the most jaw-dropping ways possible. How do you go from Hollywood royalty to total has-been status? Buckle up, because some of these stories are so outrageous you'll be asking yourself, what were they even thinking? Let's dive into the wildest self-sabotages in Hollywood history. Heidi Montag, the reality TV star who became a household name at just 19, had it all. Well, almost all. When she joined the MTV reality show The Hills, she had big dreams of being the fun party PR girl in Los Angeles, a role that surely included a lot of glamorous nights and maybe some questionable life choices. At one point, Heidi and her now husband, Spencer Pratt, were worth a combined $10 million, raking in 6 figures per episode. Their lavish lifestyle could rival the Kardashians at their peak. Think $3,000 bottles of Screaming Eagle wine, mindless shopping sprees, and vacations where the only thing more extravagant than the resort was the bill. Seriously, they were dropping cash like they were playing Monopoly, and they had the bank's permission. We would take 10 people to Wolfgang's in Beverly Hills and order $3,000 bottles of wine, and I'd only get a sip. Then we'd need another bottle, obviously. Oh, the joys of excess. But this lifestyle of champagne wishes and caviar dreams quickly spiraled out of control. Heidi and Spencer had to leave their mansion and move in with Spencer's parents. Yes, you read that right. Move in with his parents. But not all was lost. Heidi and Spencer seemed to have found their footing, with Heidi making significant lifestyle changes and cutting back on the lavish spending. In fact, she recently shared her vision for the next decade. Where do you see us in 10 years? Spencer, selling a lot of crystals to maintain our lifestyle. Oh, the crystal life. Stay tuned to see if that really works out or if their next financial move involves, say, selling seashells on the beach. Sly Stone, the man who helped define the sound of the late 60s and early 70s, not just with music, but with diversity, too. As the frontman of Sly and the Family Stone, he blended funk, rock, soul, and gospel into a sonic masterpiece that made listeners groove and think at the same time. The band's racially and gender-diverse lineup was as revolutionary as their music. But, as it often goes with legends, fame and fortune came with their own set of challenges. Stone's struggle with substance use disorder led to the band's dissolution in 1975, leaving a trail of hits and broken promises. Afterward, Stone attempted a solo career, but it never quite reached the heights of his past glory. Perhaps he was too busy being a rock star, craving attention and money, all while creating tunes that didn't quite stick like his Family Stone days. And if that wasn't enough drama, the substance issues lingered, leading to tension with his manager and, worst of all, losing access to his royalty payments. Suddenly, the man who once made crowds roar was finding himself without a home, living off welfare checks. Not exactly the everyday superstar narrative you might expect. In the world of music, sometimes the highs are dizzying, but the lows? Well, they're a bit more difficult to shake off. If you want to explore the journey with me, please leave number 1 and watch this video until the end. Interesting things are waiting for you in the video. Doug Hutchison, the actor who rose to prominence in The Green Mile, where he played the sadistic prison guard Percy Wetmore, a role that earned him critical acclaim and multiple award nominations. But while his career was soaring, life had other plans. Hutchison made headlines for all the wrong reasons when he married Courtney Stodden, a much younger woman who was still underage at the time. The marriage, as you might expect, caused quite the stir, not just in Hollywood, but also in Hutchison's personal life, where he was reportedly blacklisted from the industry and alienated by his own family. But wait, there's more. Hutchison's personal and professional life hit a financial wall, and in 2017, he was forced to file for bankruptcy. Despite the turbulence, the couple stuck together, weathering the storm for years. In fact, they even became a media sensation, with their relationship attracting more gossip than a tabloid at a family reunion. Eventually, they parted ways in 2020, but not before Hutchison reflected on how much they had been through together. Now, while Hutchison may not be the industry darling he once was, his story is a reminder that sometimes life's most dramatic twists aren't scripted, and even an award-nominated actor can go from Hollywood to bankruptcy in the blink of an eye. Teresa Giudice, star of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, has lived a life filled with drama both on screen and off. Since joining the show in 2009, Teresa became a household name. But that same year, she and her husband Joe filed for bankruptcy, claiming over $8 million in liabilities. And while that financial mess was shocking, it was just the tip of the iceberg. In 2013, the couple faced even bigger legal trouble when they were both indicted on multiple fraud charges, many stemming from their bankruptcy filing. When asked about the charges, Teresa kept a respectful silence, promising one day she'd answer questions when the legal matters played out. That day came when they both pled guilty, and the couple was ordered to pay more than $400,000 in restitution. Teresa was sentenced to 15 months in federal prison, which she served in Connecticut. But the troubles didn't stop there. In 2020, Teresa filed for divorce from Joe, and the couple sold their New Jersey mansion, a symbol of their once glamorous lifestyle. In a candid moment, Teresa shared her struggle with the loss of her marriage, admitting how difficult it was to wake up every day without the person she thought she'd spend her life with. Yet, as she continues to thrive in the spotlight, it seems she's determined to rebuild and move forward with a strong sense of independence. Kelly Rutherford, a familiar face on TV for decades, had her fair share of Hollywood glamour and drama. She first made waves in the late 80s with NBC's Generations, before landing major roles in iconic shows like Melrose Place and Gossip Girl. But behind the fame and fortune, Kelly's life took a hard turn after her divorce from her ex-husband, Daniel Giersch, in 2008. Her custody battle for their two children quickly became a public nightmare, and the emotional toll was compounded by the astronomical legal costs. Over the course of the dispute, she spent around $1.5 million in legal fees alone, a financial burden that drained her savings. In 2013, Rutherford had no choice but to file for bankruptcy. The battle wasn't over after that. Despite her efforts, Kelly lost custody of both of her children in 2015, a heartbreaking blow for any mother. Throughout the fight, she remained resolute, repeatedly stating that she would do anything to fight for her children, even when it meant going to extreme lengths. While Kelly's custody battle ended in a way no parent ever hopes for, her story highlights the unseen cost of personal struggles in the spotlight, a financial and emotional toll that can drain even the most successful. TLC Band, the iconic girl group, ruled the music scene in the 90s, dominating the charts with hits like Waterfalls and No Scrubs. Their second album, Crazy Sexy Cool, sold over 15 million copies worldwide and solidified their place in music history. However, just as they were at the peak of their fame, the shocking news broke in 1995. TLC was filing for bankruptcy. Despite their immense success, TLC's members were left with little to show for it. They revealed that exploitative record contracts had severely limited their earnings, leaving each of them with less than $50,000 annually, despite their staggering sales figures. The group famously said they were so broke, we had to borrow money to go broke. After filing for bankruptcy, TLC managed to renegotiate their contracts and bounce back in 1999 with their album Fan Mail, which featured hits like No Scrubs and Unpretty. Unfortunately, the group's future was dealt a devastating blow in 2002 when Lisa Left Eye Lopes tragically passed away in a car accident. This led to a hiatus for the group, but the remaining members, Chili and T-Boz, have since reunited as a duo, continuing to carry the TLC legacy forward. Despite their financial struggles, TLC's impact on music and culture is undeniable, showing that even the most successful can face overwhelming challenges. Brett Butler, best known for her role as the divorced single mother on the ABC sitcom Grace Under Fire, was once riding high with a salary of $250,000 per episode. For 5 years, she brought the character to life, becoming a household name. But behind the scenes, Butler's struggles with substance use disorder and personal difficulties began to take a toll on both her career and her finances. In 1998, the show was abruptly canceled, and Butler's personal issues, including her battles with addiction, were cited as contributing factors to the show's end. In the years that followed, Butler made several financial missteps, spending recklessly and quickly depleting her wealth. Her life took a dramatic turn, and she later admitted that her struggles with addiction and losing her marriage felt like a slow unraveling of her soul. Although she made some efforts to return to television with recurring roles on shows like How to Get Away with Murder and The Walking Dead, her financial situation didn't improve much. By 2021, Butler found herself in dire financial straits, nearly losing her apartment. In a last-ditch effort to save her home, she reluctantly set up a GoFundMe page, a stark contrast to her former success. Despite her setbacks, Butler's resilience remains, and she continues to make her mark on television in whatever ways she can. Sinbad, the comedian and actor who first rose to fame on the TV series A Different World and later starred in his own sitcom, The Sinbad Show, has had quite the roller coaster ride in the entertainment industry. His comedic chops led him to numerous stand-up specials, as well as appearances in movies and TV shows. Despite his increasing popularity, Sinbad's lifestyle began to outpace his earnings. As his fame grew, so did his spending, and unfortunately, he struggled with managing his finances. His tax payments became a recurring issue, and by 2013, he found himself in a financial crisis. Sinbad accumulated a tax debt of $2.5 million, leading him to file for bankruptcy. He declared a staggering $11 million in debt, with only $16,000 in monthly income. During this challenging time, Sinbad reflected on his life, saying, "When the bankruptcy hit me, people looked at me like, 'Look at you.' I said, 'Bro, look at my life.' You've never seen Sinbad with something that he wasn't supposed to have. I helped a lot of people in my life. I put a lot of people forward in my life." Despite the setbacks, Sinbad's career and legacy remain influential, with his humor and generosity still remembered by many. Amanda Bynes spent 4 years on the Nickelodeon sketch series All That before landing her own spin-off, The Amanda Show, where she brought her signature quirky humor to life. "Hello, I'm Judge Trudy," she'd say, delivering verdicts with all the sass and wit you'd expect from a teen icon. By the early 2000s, Amanda was everywhere, becoming a full-fledged teen idol with films like What a Girl Wants and Hairspray. But despite her rising fame, things took a downturn. Amanda faced a tough battle with substance use disorder and found herself tangled in a web of legal troubles. With her career taking a hit and a string of court cases piling up, her finances started to go down the drain. Then, the headlines turned darker. From a series of driving violations to bizarre tweets and even a hospitalization under a psychiatric hold, it seemed like the former child star couldn't catch a break. To make matters worse, she was placed under a conservatorship, losing control of her finances and personal decisions. But here's the plot twist. Amanda's story isn't all doom and gloom. In recent years, she's made strides to get her life back on track. With a long streak of sobriety and the end of her conservatorship in 2022, Amanda is working on her comeback, proving that with determination, it's never too late for a second act. Gary Coleman became a household name for his role as Arnold Jackson on the NBC sitcom Different Strokes. In the 1980s, he was one of the highest-paid child actors on television, delivering iconic lines like, "What you talking about, Willis?" and stealing the show with his big personality in a tiny frame. But after Different Strokes ended in 1986, Gary quickly learned that his financial situation wasn't as rosy as it seemed. His parents, who were managing his money, had mishandled it badly. In 1989, Coleman took legal action against them and his financial advisor, winning a lawsuit for $1.28 million in restitution. But when he went to court to demand an accounting of his funds, he discovered that after paying everyone else, there was barely anything left for him. "You were fleeced pretty much," he said. As Gary grew older, his career slowed down and roles became scarce. By 1999, he filed for bankruptcy, struggling with health and legal issues that only compounded his financial troubles. Tragically, in 2010, Gary passed away after falling and suffering a brain bleed at the age of 42. Despite all the hardships, many hope that Gary is now at peace, free from the struggles that haunted him in life. I just hope Gary's happy, and he's in a better place, and he's not suffering anymore. Over the span of a decade, MC Hammer went from the quintessential rags to riches story to an equally dramatic fall from grace. After releasing 2 moderately successful albums, Hammer skyrocketed to worldwide fame with his hit single, "You Can't Touch This," from his 3rd studio album. The song was a game-changer, with its unforgettable hook and catchy beat making people say, "Oh my Lord," at the time. By the height of his success, Forbes estimated Hammer's net worth at over $33 million. But what goes up must come down, and Hammer's wealth quickly evaporated due to his lavish spending. He built an extravagant mansion and supported a vast network of employees, 200 to be exact, a fact he didn't shy away from sharing. "It wasn't no secret," he said, adding, "So which thing I was playing them in? Hamburgers?" By 1996, Hammer's musical success had plummeted, and he was forced to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, facing a debt of over $13 million. Despite a few comeback attempts, the California rapper never fully recovered from his financial downfall. Even in his darkest moments, he echoed the sentiment from his 1999 track, "Mr. Devil, can you give me a sign?" Dennis Rodman, known as much for his insane skills on the basketball court as for his outlandish persona, became a global icon. From slam dunks to wild antics, Rodman left his mark on the NBA and beyond. After retiring in 2006, he kept the spotlight on him, dipping into wrestling, acting, and even reality TV. However, Rodman's journey took a dark turn in the mid-2000s when he fell victim to a con woman, Peggy Ann Fulford. Posing as a financial advisor, Fulford managed to scam Rodman and several other athletes out of millions of dollars. She befriended them, promised to safeguard their finances, and then proceeded to rob them blind. As Rodman put it, she was caring and loving, but was also just robbing him blind. The scam was so deep that Rodman struggled to keep up with his child and spousal support payments. After Fulford was convicted, Rodman was awarded over $1 million in restitution, but he's the first to admit, "I'll probably never see a dime of it." Rodman's story serves as another example of how fame and wealth can be easily exploited, even by those closest to you. T-Pain, the rapper and singer who became a household name in the mid-2000s, amassed an impressive fortune of over $40 million thanks to a string of hit singles. However, instead of making smart financial decisions, he splurged on extravagant purchases. He bought a massive house and a $2.1 million Bugatti, which he later had to sell for just $800,000. In a humorous twist, T-Pain explained that he bought another house next door to his current one, thinking it would complement his lavish lifestyle. Unfortunately, it wasn't long before his spending caught up with him, and by 2019, the Bynes drank singer was forced to file for bankruptcy protection. However, things took a turn for the better when he appeared on The Masked Singer that same year. Now, it seems T-Pain is back on his feet, proving that even in the face of financial disaster, a bit of perseverance and opportunity can turn things around. Todd Herzog's rise to fame came with his victory on the 15th season of Survivor China, where he outplayed, outwitted, and outlasted his competitors to claim the $1 million prize at just 22 years old. Before his Survivor days, Herzog worked as a flight attendant for SkyWest Airlines, traveling across the U.S. But despite his reality TV success, Herzog's personal life was in turmoil as he struggled with alcohol use disorder. His journey took a pivotal turn when he sought professional help. And after spending around 30 days in treatment, he began to understand the extent of his issues. One of the key moments in his recovery was recalling his appearance on the Dr. Phil show, which he couldn't fully remember due to his state at the time. However, Herzog managed to turn his life around, attaining sobriety and finding stability. Now Herzog lives a quieter life, happily married to his husband Jess Hermanson. In a heartfelt gesture, he even had the Dolphins help him propose to Jess, marking a beautiful new chapter in his life. Fantasia Barrino's journey to stardom began in 2004 when she won the third season of American Idol, becoming a household name. Her debut single, I believe, topped the charts in both the US and Canada, and her first album went platinum. With her newfound fame, it seemed like everything was going her way. However, the pressure of being the sole breadwinner for her family, coupled with the declining sales of her second album, soon caused financial troubles. Fantasia's $1.1 million home was even set to be auctioned off to cover an unpaid loan. In a candid interview with Oprah, she admitted to making poor financial decisions and taking on too much responsibility without the necessary knowledge or guidance. Despite her struggles, Fantasia was determined to learn from her mistakes and rebuild her life. In 2023, she made a powerful move by returning to school after having dropped out as a teen. This marked a new chapter in her life, showing her commitment to personal growth and a renewed focus on her future. Fantasia's resilience and willingness to learn from her past continue to inspire many. Gary Busey was once one of Hollywood's most recognizable stars, gaining widespread fame with his Oscar-nominated performance in The Buddy Holly Story, 1978. He continued his success with notable roles in Lethal Weapon and Point Break, both of which were huge box office hits. However, his life took a sharp turn after a near-fatal motorcycle accident in 1988 that left him with permanent brain damage. Following the accident, Busey became erratic both on and off camera, struggling with his altered perceptions and emotions. His once thriving career began to falter as he found it increasingly difficult to land major roles in films and TV shows. With a substantial portion of his fortune gone and little income coming in, Busey filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2012. Despite these setbacks, Busey has continued to appear in various reality TV shows and projects, often leaning into his quirky persona. His story serves as a reminder of how rapidly fortune can change, but also of his enduring presence in popular culture. Lil Kim, once hailed as the queen of rap, Lil Kim made a huge impact on the hip-hop world, inspiring a generation of female rappers and selling upwards of 30 million singles globally. For her, life was all about the Benjamins, and she was living large in the spotlight. But, like many stars, the good times didn't last forever. After a prison stint in 2005 and declining album sales, Lil Kim found herself facing some serious financial issues. In 2018, she declared bankruptcy, claiming to be about $4 million in debt, largely due to unpaid taxes and mortgage loans. To pay off her debt, her $2.3 million mansion was put up for auction, with the opening bid set at, wait for it, $100. Yes, you read that right. Now, that's what we call a hard fall from the throne. But hey, Lil Kim's resilience has always been a part of her story. The Queen has had her ups and downs, but she's still a legend. If you're wondering, I think it's safe to say the real value of her mansion was a lot higher than that opening bid, right? What do you think about her comeback? Will she rise to the top again? Or is the buzz gone for good? Let us know in the comments. Kim Basinger became a Hollywood fixture in the 80s and 90s with her sultry femme fatale roles, becoming an icon with unforgettable moments like her Merry Christmas to You officer scene. But at the height of her acting career, Basinger faced a series of financial setbacks that would send even the most seasoned stars into a tailspin. First, in a move that shocked everyone, Basinger paid a whopping $20 million to acquire a small town in her home state of Georgia. Sadly, the investment turned out to be a massive flop. Then, things went from bad to worse when she backed out of the movie Boxing Helena, leading to a lawsuit and forcing her to pay millions of dollars to the studio. As if that wasn't enough, her marriage to Alec Baldwin ended in a messy divorce, reportedly costing her even more of her fortune. You know, we were all fine, we all get along, whatever, but he's been a challenge. I mean, come on, she remarked. Despite her early fame and Oscar win, Basinger never fully recovered from these financial troubles. For someone like Toni Braxton, who has sold over 70 million records worldwide, it's hard to imagine how she could go bankrupt not once, but twice. After her smash hit Unbreak My Heart topped the charts, Braxton found herself in financial trouble. Despite generating millions from her music, she barely saw any of it due to harsh clauses in her recording contracts. $170 million in sales and you got $1,972? Is that right? Yeah, that's right, that's true, she explained. She managed to dig herself out of that hole, but the financial storm wasn't over. In 2010, after her Vegas residency was canceled due to health issues, she had to file for bankruptcy again. But true to her resilient spirit, Toni rose from those financial ashes. She bounced back, producing and starring in the successful reality series Braxton Family Values. Toni's journey hasn't been easy, though. No one did anything for me. My family wasn't my people that I loved because when you're being inducted into something, you call the people close to you, right? But everybody bailed on me. What do you think about Toni's comeback? Was her second bankruptcy just part of her journey to success? Bert Reynolds, a Hollywood legend, was once a dominant force at the box office in the late 70s and early 80s. Known for his roles in classics like Smokey and the Bandit and Deliverance, Reynolds seemed to have it all. However, as the years passed, his career started to decline. A costly divorce from actress Lonnie Anderson, coupled with a series of bad investments, led him to file for bankruptcy in 1996. But Bert wasn't done just yet. His career experienced a revival in 1997 with Boogie Nights, earning him both a Golden Globe and an Oscar nomination. Despite his return to fame, financial woes continued to plague him. By 2014, Reynolds was auctioning off his iconic possessions, including the canoe from Deliverance, the Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit, and even his Golden Globe from Boogie Nights. Until his passing in 2018, Reynolds lived in his Florida estate, which had once faced foreclosure but was later bought by his neighbor. The neighbor graciously allowed Reynolds to live on the property at a much lower cost, showing that even in the face of financial setbacks, he found a way to stay on his feet. Bert's story serves as a reminder that even the brightest stars can face tough times, but with resilience, it's possible to rise again.